To order numbers on a number line, my suggestion to you would be to type all of these numbers into your calculator and get a decimal approximation. Then you know what two numbers that you should plot it between. So we know that 1/4 is 0.25. If you use the square root button on your calculator, the square root of 8 is 2.8. And you should know that that should be between 2 and 3 because 2 squared is 4 and 3 squared is 9. Negative 3 we don't need to do anything with. Negative 9 over 2 you should know is negative 4.5 or negative 4.5. And then the cube root of 10. This is on your graphing calculator in the math menu. And the cube root of 10 is just approximately 2.2. And then we have negative 2.1. Okay, so if we plot this on the number line, 0.25 is going to be between 0 and 1, but closer to 0. But when I put this on the number line, because they gave me 1/4, I'm going to label it 1/4, not 0.25. 2.8 is between 2 and 3, but closer to 3. And I'm going to label that the square root of 8. Negative 3 is exactly at negative 3, so I don't really need to label that. Negative 4.5 is between negative 4 and negative 5. The cube root of 3 is 2.2, so we're going to go 2.2, so it's pretty close to 2. We're going to label that the cube root of 3. And we've got negative 2.1, so it's a little bit more negative than negative 2, so we're going to go a little bit further to the left and label that negative 2.1. Okay, so let's look at number 2. Again, I'm going to start with decimal approximations. Negative 5 over 2 is just negative 2.5, so negative 2.5. The square root of 9 is 3. We've got negative 2. Negative 9 over 10 is negative 0.9. The cube root of 8, again, is in your math menu if you don't know that off the top of your head, because that's a perfect, is 2. And then we have negative 4.5. So let's plot these. We've got negative 2.5, so that's between negative 2 and negative 3. And we're going to label that negative 5 over 2 because that's what they gave us. On 3, I'm plotting 3, but they gave us the square root of 9, so I'm going to put the square root of 9. We've got negative 2. Negative 0.9, so negative 0.9 is almost negative 1, but not quite. So I'm going to label that negative 9 over 10. We've got 2, but they gave us the cube root of 8, so I'm going to make sure I label that the cube root of 8. And then negative 4.5. That is halfway between negative 4 and negative 5. Okay, now I would like you to pause the video and try number 3 on your own. Number 3 will be checked tomorrow. Okay, so the next set of directions just says to write the numbers in order from least to greatest, so we don't have to plot them on a number line. What we're going to do is we're going to start out the exact same way and just making all of these a decimal approximation. So we've got negative 1, and then we have negative 12 over 3, which we know is negative 4. Cube root of 16 is not perfect, but again it's in your math menu, and it is approximately 2.5. You've got 1/2, which is 0.5. The square root of 20 is not perfect, but it's approximately 4.5. And then you have negative 0.2. So from least to greatest, so you're going to go really big negative to really big positive. So your biggest negative is negative 4. But actually, you know what? I'm not going to write that as negative 4. What I'm going to write that as is negative 12 over 3 because that's what they gave us. The next largest negative is negative 1. Then negative 0.2. And then we're going to go into our positives, so we're going to work from least to greatest there. So we've got 0.5, which they gave us as 1/2. Then we've got 2.5, which they gave us as the cube root of 16. And then we have the 4.5, which is the square root of 20. So that is from least to greatest. So the biggest negative to the biggest positive. Pause the video or stop the video, and you are responsible for number 5. So tomorrow when you come in, you should have 3 and 5 completed on your own.